You hear all the time, trust your intuition, which I believe. Yet people end up, oh God, you can call it your spirit team, you can call it your intuition, you can call it your guides, you can call it whatever you want to call it, but it's like sometimes they'll be extreme too to get your attention. So say you're friends with somebody, they're doing something behind your back that is harmful to you or putting you in a bad position or taking advantage of you or essentially what you wouldn't consider a friend, right? And so you get the nudge, but you ignore it because they're your friend. You get another nudge and another nudge. And so sometimes it's almost like your team will give you such an exaggerated thing that will scare you. Like, how about this? If they were doing this, would you jump? And you're like, holy shit, yeah. So you jump. Thank God you listened because it saved you. You didn't know how or why it saved you, but it saved you. But you didn't need all that. But some do. But then you start to question your intuition again. And it's like you want to go back to the comfortable zone of what you knew. But what you knew wasn't true. That wasn't a friend. You were lying to yourself saying they were. You thought they were, but then they took a different path. They chose to, whatever. And so it's like you have to keep reminding yourself of the truth and moving forward. And I think what a lot of times people do is they end up gaslighting themselves or battling with their own intuition or dismissing it. And it's like, here's an easy way to help maybe. What is that scary thing your intuition is telling you? And you might think, well, it's so obnoxious. Like, it's so out there. It's so okay, let's just bear with me. Let's just take the test. What if it was right? What if it was true? Oh my God. What if it was true? Thank God. It's like all of a sudden, all the knots untangle and wash to the ground. Oh my God, I was saved from that. I was fighting with myself, calling myself awful, beating up myself, thinking I should go back, thinking I should re-engage, but I was right all along. So all that time of torment, I was tormenting myself for no reason. All I had to do was listen and move on. And so when you're sitting there and you're thinking you're going crazy or you're upset or you're paranoid or you should make it right, or it's like you're losing your shit. And it's like, why? You were right. All of a sudden you gain all your energy back. All of a sudden you're standing up straight again. All of a sudden you're confident in yourself again because all of a sudden you're listening to yourself again. You're believing in yourself again. So you believe yourself again, and then it's like, fuck all that. You're right. I was right. Move along with your life. Right? It's like, how much longer are you going to sit there and torment yourself over being right? You just were questioning if you were right. What if you are right? So move on. And again, there's a time and a place for all of these. But I think there's it's probably good people who sit and torment themselves and have a good heart and good intentions and waste too much of their time and their energy because of their good heart, wanting to, quote, do the right thing and not have anybody else hurt. Well, the people you're worried about hurting are the very ones that are intentionally hurting you. Do you see them doing anything? Do you see them being tormented? Do you see them coming forward? Move along with your life. It's like wash away all those knots. Ask yourself that one simple question. What if you were right all along? Sometimes I am shown some really horrific stuff that I really want to believe is symbolism, or and a lot of times it is, but sometimes it's not. And sometimes it's literal and it is exactly what it is. And it just seems so far-fetched because you never in your wildest dreams would have ever thought somebody you knew or felt about that way would behave in such a manner. It just wouldn't even cross your mind, because of course not. They're your friend, they're good, they're nice, they're your lover, they're your husband, they're your wife, they're your whatever. It doesn't even dawn on you to think that way. Of course you want it. So when you're shown something like that, or you get a flash of that, and you think, well, that's insane, which means I'm insane. That's crazy. I'm paranoid. I'm whatever. You'll gaslight yourself, burn up your inside, torment yourself, all because your higher guidance was going, move along from this character. He means you no good. He's up to no good. It's helping you none. It's harming you lots. Move along. But we don't. We resist ourselves. We resist our inner knowing. And in that resistance, we start to cause pain and torment and harm and damage to our body, our mind, our soul. Our cells start to go wonky. We start to have aches and pains, diseases, all types of things can occur. Why is it occurring? Because you're not listening to yourself. You're not following your heart's guidance. That talks about it in Revelations. Well, then you're eaten alive, and then the pain of the locust start. And it's the idea of, why are you swallowing those swords? Why are you going against yourself? Why are you not listening to your heart? Why are you not loving you? Right? And you could look at it, if it helps, how arrogant of you that you can't leave. Well, you think they can't manage without you? Right? You think they care so much about you? They don't care. You can go. You can go. Right? Like, it's however you can see it to trust you. Always choose you. Otherwise, you're sacrificing you. Literally. You're going to get eaten out from the inside out because you're tormenting yourself. You're battling yourself. How about you just believe yourself and move along with your life? Right? And the reason I say it's like, some people can hear this, some people can't, meaning there's a time and a place for everything. It's not the time and the place when you're not coming from your highest and best. Like, if you're coming from a lower state, or you're coming from your ego, or you're always arguing, and it's your ego who's in charge, you can take that advice and be like, see, I'm out of here. Well, that's all from your ego. That's all from fear. That's still tormenting yourself inside, and you're still going to be tormented when you leave. Yet when it's from your higher self, and you start to connect with your higher self, and align with your higher self, and listen to your higher self, and trust your higher self, and move from your higher self, that's when all the knots drop, and you just feel good, and you stop torturing and tormenting yourself. Realizing you're loving yourself, you're no longer sacrificing yourself. But so you have to know where you're at. Because you can take that same message in your lower state and miss the entire message and still be tormented. So you have to know if you're aligned or not. And if you're aligned, you can hear that perfectly clear. And you can release some more knots, feel even better, float even higher, right? Realizing, oh, you're right, I was still hanging on to that last thing. What if I was right? Okay, I feel so much better, right? Like, oh my God, you're right, I was right. And it's like, you don't have to prove yourself right, and you don't have to be right. It's like a way to release you if you have some leftover strings, leftover ties, leftover worries, right? That you can't unravel. And it's like, well, you don't need to unravel it. Don't waste your time and energy unraveling it, right? The scales have already tipped the other way. You're already aligned with yourself, sure of yourself, loving yourself. So keep that alignment. And keeping that alignment realizes you need to release that leftover, right? Continue to trust yourself. Continue to align with yourself, which means you don't fight yourself. You don't argue with yourself. You don't need to have that tug of war inside. You can let it go. You can let it go. And start focusing, moving forward. And again, I know that's not always easy. It's really not. Especially when, did I put out the one the other day where it's a blank canvas? Even when you fill in the gap, even when you have, patted down the last piece of dirt, the wound, the dead, the old, the over is filled in, The end of the funeral is tied up. It's like you can look out into a barren desert and be like, but what now? And so some people will stay sitting at the flat ground. And it's like, no, I know it's hard. It's like you did all that, you mourned all that took all that time and energy and whatnot. And now you still need energy because you need to create a whole new world. So, yeah, I know, it's not easy. It's not. But you can also understand it in the way I'm sharing with you, like it's not optional, right? The option is then you might as well have jumped in the hole with them. That's now covered up, buried, and dead. If you're not going to move forward. Because now you're just on top of the ground, staring at the ground and what's beneath the ground. So, what was the point? The point was for you to move forward. It's dead and gone. It's time to move forward. And I know it takes time. You got to muster up the strength, but do it sooner than later because the longer you sit there, the harder it gets. It's like you think you're thirsty now. Well, if you keep sitting in the desert underneath the sun, you're not going to become less thirsty. Right? You got to pick a direction and get going. If you don't know how to determine which direction you are, pick a way. You'll soon find out. Thanks so much for tuning in and listening. You can now purchase an audio journey with me using the link below.